Hello there. Happy Money Monday, and welcome back to another episode of the Empowered and Abundant podcast. This week, I have a special guest interview for you. I'm going to be chatting with Mary McGonagle, who is a former client of mine who went through the Empowered Abundance program. She is a feminine embodiment coach and a relationship coach who helps single women find love and get into healthy relationships. And in this episode, we're talking about her journey going through Empowered Abundance and the year beyond Empowered Abundance. We're also touching on how your relationship with money also bleeds into your relationship to a romantic partner, your love life, and also your business and the entrepreneurship journey as well. And through this conversation, there were so many powerful insights that Mary and I touched on. So I'm really excited for you to tune in. Before we dive into this episode, I have to let you know that enrollment for the Empowered Abundance program ends today, which means today is your last chance to schedule a free 60-minute consultation with me. On this 60-minute consultation, what we'll do is together we will explore your current relationship with money, and I'm going to help you uncover what are the blocks around money that are holding you back or that has been impacting your relationship with money and preventing you from really living the life you want to live and stepping into the level of freedom and entrepreneurial success that you desire. Then I'm going to give you a step-by-step path to stepping fully into your next level of abundance and living the free, abundant, fulfilling, impactful life that you want to live. And then we'll explore exactly what it will look like for Empowered Abundance to support you on this journey. And I'll support you in deciding if joining this round of Empowered Abundance is the right next step for you. The next round for Empowered Abundance begins August 11th. This is a 6-month group program. It is a powerful transformation of your relationship with money from the inside out. And this is my 9th group round of this program. So time and time again, I've led people through this process, through this journey, and the results are living a more abundant life, feeling more fulfilled in your work, magnetizing more money to you, having more time and money freedom, and really feeling this sense of enoughness and this ability to enjoy your life starting right now. So if you feel like money has been the last missing piece of the puzzle, if you feel like money has been the thing holding you back or blocking you from really living the life that you're meant to live, then the Empowered Abundance program is the most impactful way to change your relationship with money so you can start to feel abundant right now. So if you're hearing this and you're thinking, you know what, this is for me, I want you to go ahead and click the link in the show notes below to get your free consultation on the calendar. It's okay if it's not booked for today, but I want you to get it scheduled now so that you can have the chance to lock in your spot and join us for the next round beginning on August 11th. Again, you can schedule your free consult using the link in the show notes or by going to my website, thebizhippie.com/abundance. Without further ado, let's chat with Mary. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Mary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Scarlett. I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited for this conversation. I'm so glad that you agreed to come and be a guest on the show. Before we dive in, I'd love if you could introduce yourself and share a little bit about you for all of our listeners.
Yeah, so I am a feminine embodiment coach and I help single women get into a relationship. And I live at the Jersey Shore. You can always find me walking my dog Emmy, surfing, doing yoga, and I also recently got engaged myself.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting, especially because it's plays such a huge role in like the work you do and how you support and serve people. So, congratulations
Thank
on your
you.
engagement. And you and I worked together. You're an alumni of the Empowered Abundance program, and I was just reflecting back on, when we first started working together and according to my calendar, we first started working together at the end of August of 2024. And then we worked together for quite a long time. But if we flash back to like 2 years ago. No, a year ago. Oh my gosh, my timeline just totally got screwed up. Like over a year ago at this point. So much has happened since then. And I'd love to talk a little bit today about your journey going through Empowered Abundance, since we haven't had the opportunity to talk about that on the podcast yet. And then, like, Empowered Abundance and beyond, what has happened since then. So, before we talk about the past year since going through Empowered Abundance, I'd love if you could reflect back on way back when, before we started working together, what inspired you to join Empowered Abundance, do this work in the first place?
Yeah. Wow. So, well, one, I loved all the work that we did together, but fast backtrack. You actually were on my podcast and I interviewed you, and I'm like, this girl's cool. She knows her stuff. I loved how you explained everything. And I could tell that you were somebody who really knew your stuff, could coach, and everything that you were talking about with money. I know, I knew back then I had a lot of money blocks or like resistance towards money, and I just wasn't quite sure what they were, but I know the power of coaching, so I knew how powerful it would be to work with someone on that, and it really spoke to me, and then here we are.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm so glad that you followed that exploration where you're just like this feels like it resonates, this feels like the right move and I'm going to explore it and take this leap and make this decision for myself. And I think that's such a powerful way to, invest in yourself and commit to yourself, especially as someone who is a coach as well, too, and the impact it has for our businesses and on our clients when we're consistently investing in ourselves and our growth and our development.
Yeah, I love that because, well, one of the things that I try to remind myself is investing in help is so powerful when you feel like you don't need the help. And not that I knew, like I said, I had money. I knew I had money blocks, but I wasn't like in desperate need of help. So I think, a lot of times people think, oh, I can only invest in myself if I'm like really struggling. And, even that's still scary. It's like, don't wait till you're at that point. Like keep yourself floating above water, keep growing. So yeah, I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I totally agree too. I think that's such a powerful place to invest from because it's like investing from a place of abundance as opposed to investing from a place of scarcity. And that's something that we talk about in Empowered Abundance is like using your money as a tool to create the life you want to live. So when you invest from a place of abundance, your money is amplifying and expanding that, which propels so much growth forward and is very different than like making financial decisions from a fear, stressful, scarce place.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, investing, even I'm like, okay, I'm in a good spot, but there's still going to be fear there. It's still going to be scary. And that's part of the journey along the way.
Exactly. That's how you know that you're expanding when there is like fear in it. And that's true for investing in yourself. It's true for all areas of life too. I've been talking to clients recently and they're like, yeah, I feel really stressed. I feel really worried. I feel really scared about these like big leaps of faith I'm taking. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. It means you're in expansion. If you weren't in expansion, then you wouldn't be feeling this way. So I think like the fear around the investments and the leap of faith can actually be a big measure of success that like you're doing it, it's happening, you're making so much progress and you're stepping into active growth right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know it was a while ago, but when you reflect back on our time together, I'm curious, what were some of the like maybe big or even small aha moments or turning points that you feel like really shifted the trajectory for you?
Mm. Well, so much of our work was impactful. Like honestly, like you're one of the best, like most impactful coaches that I've worked with. So, and I think with that being said is like we don't realize how deep our money wounds can be. And I had so much shame around my money wound, so much shame for how I handled money in the past, how I was currently handling it. And so being able to work through that shame and unpack it is huge, because that shame, what I do, I know that lives in your body, and that's going to prevent you being able to be able to receive more money. So being able to really dive into that shame for me was huge.
Yeah, yeah. And especially when we go back to, being entrepreneurs and being business owners and really making big investments in ourselves and taking leaps of faith in ourselves and then also asking for money from people as well too, like our relationship with money, especially the story we have around money and the shame we have around money can play such a huge role in our ability to be successful in our business, to be able to spend and invest money and to be able to receive money from clients in so many ways.
Yes, I one of the things, actually, I believe we did it live, and you might share that podcast episode on your podcast, so you should listen to that episode. But Scarlett and I did a live coaching session where she walked me through. I felt like I was being a bad person for taking money, and it was hard for me to charge what I wanted to charge because of that. And through that session and the work that we did, that was like really eye-opening. And it's so funny because actually recently I was helping another coach friend work through that same thing around charging money and the value in that. So your work is rippled, but that was so powerful because I felt like that helped me take my power back. That helped me grow more into the confident, successful coach that I am, and as well as really really hold my clients more accountable.
Yeah, I love that. And I love to hear that you're also like passing on that wisdom and that lesson as well, because that can be a big one when we have that doubt and like stickiness around money and charging. It shows up in our business in so many ways, not
Yeah.
just in our ability to actually make money and sign clients, but even how we serve our clients. So I love that you touched on being able to hold your clients accountable and like to a higher standard, because I believe that our price point is part of the value that we provide. It's part of the service. And so it's really cool to hear how that's been now reflected in your coaching since like having that shift within yourself.
Yeah. And what's so cool too, because like the work that we did, it stays within me, because as you up level, you can use these tools that we've uncovered, and that I've learned through our work together, to up level, because I'm also in the season where I can see, okay, my price is too low because I'm not getting the level of accountability investment that I want. But maybe a Mary, before I met Scarlett, the price that I'm at now would have been like, oh my God, that's so much. Like, I can't charge that, blah, blah, blah. But, I was able to raise my prices with you. And now I'm in that same scenario where, again, I'm like, it's a no brainer to raise my prices, because it's gonna, clients are gonna, if you clients are gonna be held way more accountable, versus if it's just a number that doesn't really, like, get them moving to do the work. And so, and also for me, I'm not gonna feel as resentful. Not that I feel resentful now, but I can tell if I don't, because of the work that you and I did, I can tell if I don't raise my prices, that resentment will start to come in. And also, just for me, I know what comes up is like questioning or doubting if I'm a good enough coach, or if what I'm doing is impactful. So it's crazy how much just a slight adjustment of raising your prices and calling in aligned clients at that price point can really uh propel you into your business.
Oh, yes, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's so cool too to hear how this is something that we worked on together when we were coaching, and you experienced that transformation then. And now you're also going through the same experience again 1 year later, but you're able to recognize it more deeply, more quickly for yourself, and also see, okay, this is the shift that needs to happen. I'm feeling more confident and comfortable in this shift. It feels more like a no-brainer, and I know the kind of result that I'm going to get from this, versus before it was like a little scary, intimidating, unknown. You didn't know what impact it was going to have, versus now being on the other side of it and continuing to get the same transformation and continued growth and continued expansion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm curious to know too, because it's been a while since me and you have actually caught up. And so I got to witness your journey actually going through Empowered Abundance through 6 months of working together. But now it's been almost a year since we've worked together. And I would love to hear, during Empowered Abundance, I find that there's several either small trajectory shifts that can then make a big impact in the long run. So I would love to hear a little bit more about what has your life, your business, your overall sense of abundance looked like over the past year, and what has continued to unfold for you since transforming your relationship with money.
Hmm. Something actually not money related, but of course it is money related, has been being more bold and confident in about what it is that I do. I think so often as coaches, we're on Instagram for the majority of the day or whatever, posting content, stories, etc. And we see all the other coaches out there doing it. And we get in our heads thinking about, well, who am I? Who's going to want to work with me? Oh, I can't charge that because I heard so and so's charging this and I saw they're doing that. And all of the things and that comparison. And so when you're constantly in it, you can forget your own value, your own self worth, of what makes you unique. And so the thing, and how this ties in with money, is when you are really comfortable with charging what it is that you want to charge because you know the value and impact you can have on somebody's life, all that shifts, all that goes away. You're not comparing yourself to other people. You're not wondering who's going to pay for your services. So it was really impactful to see how much doing the money work in tandem helped boost my confidence, helped me feel more bold to show up authentically with who I am, what I have to offer, how I'm different than other people, and being totally okay about that.
Yeah. And I love that you touched on this, because when we transform our relationship with money, it's so much deeper than just our relationship with money. It ties into our self-worth, our deservingness. It ties into our like sense of safety and security, what we believe we're capable of. And especially when we're business owners and entrepreneurs, like it can really impact our overall confidence and our ability to show up, to deliver, to serve, to actually give the value and make the impact that we want to make. And all of that can impact our sales. And so it sounds like deepening that self worth through, uncovering some of the relationship with money is also continuing to expand in your business, and that you've also been able to step into like deeper and deeper levels of confidence in the work you do and what you offer now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and what I'm curious too, like over the past year, what impact has that had on your business overall? Like what has that looked like?
Yeah, so much clarity, so much, when we were working together, um, I believe it was actually maybe right as we started to work together. I was more of a feminine embodiment coach, but I was working with a lot of women who wanted to be in a relationship, and I was kind of scared to own that. Um, but having that shift of the work that we did and the impact is just so clear. Again, going back to that boldness, that confidence, being really clear with the type of women that I want to work with and help, and owning that. So really the impact has been that clarity, which is so important, you know, when you are trying to decide where you want to go, instead of me just kind of being a little bit more generic, really recognizing, okay, this clarity, these specifics. And then you get to, that's more of the, I guess it's strategic. I was going to say energetic, but and strategic, but also, and then the financial side is then you get to say, okay, I specialize in this and I know how to get you the demand that it is that you desire, and being able to charge for that and being able to fully see the value in that. A lot of the times, yeah, I reflect back on the work that we did because I think about uh what it's costing, maybe when that little voice creeps in, ooh, this is a lot of money, Mary. We're going to raise our prices to this. And then my healthy voice of the work that Scarlett and I did together comes in and says, well, what is it going to cost them not to do this? Right. Because a lot of
Mm.
women have been through that and experienced that, and it's cost them a heck of a lot more. So it's just really has not only given me clarity, but shaped my viewpoint of how I do business overall. And of course, that's going to lead to a greater financial income on my end as well.
Yeah, I love this. And as you're talking too, it's such like a powerful reminder for me of how, business really just is a long game as well, too, where you're just deepening your confidence, you're deepening your belief in yourself. You're constantly healing and growing and developing, and that's really how you step into that confidence that does lead to success and does lead to abundance for you and results for your clients. And when you do the work around money, I truly believe like money is one of the deepest layers of personal growth and healing that we can do. So once you do that, it's kind of like you've already gone to the depths and you've learned the processes and the skill sets and the tools for dealing with the depths. And then you just get to take all of those same like skills and processes and tools with you as you continue to expand. And then you're just building more and more momentum. And I know in my business in the beginning, I didn't feel like solid and confident at all. And I was wondering why it wasn't working and feeling like I needed more and was in like not enoughness. And then flash forward like several years later, I'm like, oh, I'm in a totally different energy. I'm in that solid, grounded, confident energy where, yeah, maybe I still have bigger goals that I'm still working towards, but the way that I show up in my business from this place of like abundance and enoughness and solid and confident in who I am and what I do, and solid and confident in my money and myself, like that totally changed the way that I did business for sure.
Yeah, it's everything. It's the foundation. I work with a lot of clients who it's hard for them to feel safe around men. And it's that same energy, safety, feeling safe to have money in your bank account, feeling safe to charge what you want to charge. And yeah, it all comes back to that foundation, especially when you look at the human needs of us as individuals. Safety is everything. And yeah, we need, money does help us to grow into that safety. So yeah, I love that you mentioned that because it really is foundation.
Yeah, and I think it would be really fun to touch on the overlap in the work that we do as well too, because you coach on feminine embodiment but also love and relationships, and I believe that money and love and relationships overlap big time because they do both touch on safety and self-trust and self-worth and self-confidence. And even on my intake form for empowered abundance, I ask people, I'm like, what's your romantic relationship situation looks like, because that's going to be a direct reflection of your relationship with money and if you believe you're worthy and deserving. So I'm really curious to know, like, how have you seen the work that we did tie into either your own relationship and love journey or like the work that you do with your clients? I would love to touch on this overlap.
Yeah, I always say it's money and love is like peanut butter and jelly. And I
Yeah.
think the thing for me and also my clients the work that we did together and how it overlaps is vulnerability, because it's really vulnerable to open up your finances and look at them and maybe feel those feelings that you don't want to feel, oh, that it's not enough. And that's the same thing when you're in a relationship. It's you're someone to be able to receive and let love in is you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And that what that looks like specifically in a relationship is communicating and expressing your needs and how you feel. And that can be a very vulnerable thing. So I think the core piece that ties them together in this overlap is definitely that vulnerability aspect.
Right, right. Because when you transform your relationship with money, you're really getting vulnerable with yourself and you're seeing yourself very clearly and honestly and saying, like, hey, this is the reality. This is who I am. Can I still trust myself and love myself in this reality? Can I be the one in control of my life and make decisions and like trust that I'm always going to be safe, that I'm always going to have my own back, that money is going to come to me and always money's always going to be on my side, and all of that is 100% true for a relationship. Like you have to show up and be like, do I trust myself to choose the right person? Do I trust this person? Do I trust that even if this person betrays me, I'm always going to have my own back no matter what? Like it really does circle back around. And I know as well too, as somebody who has been in a relationship for 5 years now, I'm like, yes, this my relationship with money, my relationship to my partner, and the growth of my business have always gone in tandem for sure. And I'm sure you've
Yeah.
experienced that to some degree.
Yes, yes, totally. I always think about that. It's like for me, it's money, relationship, and my business are always like moving very similar patterns.
Yeah, because they hit deep. They like get to the core of who you are and your self-worth in so many ways.
Yeah, well, one of the things I always say is you want all of your insecurities to show you to come up to surface, become an entrepreneur. It's the same thing. If you want all your insecurities to come up to surface, start dating or getting into a relationship. But
Yes.
it's not a bad thing. It's those insecurities can come up to surface to show you what you need to do, what you need to work through, how you need to do it, right? That implementation so that you can be secure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because if it wasn't coming up to the surface, then you wouldn't be in that expansion and you wouldn't be in that growth. And it's actually such a measure of the work that you're doing and the expansion that you're in because you're bringing the gunk to the surface as a result of choosing to expand your comfort zone in this way, which is so powerful.
Yes, exactly. It's just getting outside of that comfort zone and once you break through from that, you're going to start to see things differently and that's where the change happens.
Yeah, and I think that it's such a powerful reflection of abundance as well, because abundance isn't just financial abundance. It's about really living the life that you want to live. And it's a bigger picture than just having a certain amount of money. It's about, like, yes, I have time freedom and energy freedom, and I can travel, and I have the people in my life that I care about, and I get to be with my family, and I get to be with the people that I love. Like, abundance is about so much more than just having a lot of money. It's about actually living what your most abundant life looks like. And for so many people, that also includes partnership as well.
Yes, I love that because even another shift in that abundance mindset with money and relationships, having an abundance mindset when you are starting to date and maybe a man ghosts you, and instead of having this, oh, I'm never gonna date, see, this is why all men are bad mentality, you're like, thank you. You just saved me so much time and energy. And now I know somebody better is on their way. And it's the same thing with money too, because maybe you're an entrepreneur, a coach, and the client doesn't work with you that you thought was going to work with you. And but you have that abundance mindset. You're like, okay, it wasn't meant to be. Thank you, God, that the next person who is aligned to work with me is on their way, instead of, oh, I just need to burn down my business. This isn't working, blah, blah, blah. So that abundance mindset is goes hand in hand again with both the money and the relationship aspect.
Yes, totally. And I love that you touched on that too, because I find myself talking about this all the time with my clients. Is like if you are in true abundance, it changes the way that you show up, not only to your life, but especially to your business. Like you're going to speak differently, you're going to act differently, you're going to attract clients differently, and also like attract opportunities into your life differently. And it's because it's rooted from this foundational place of abundance instead of fear and lack and scarcity and not enoughness.
Yes, I love that. And the big piece of that abundance mindset, which also goes into what I teach of feminine energy, is having this deep gratitude, because being grateful also makes you a powerful receiver. So if you're
Mhm.
like, okay, you know what, maybe they're going to work with somebody else. Okay, that's great that they found somebody else. Or okay, maybe this man's not interested in me. Okay, that's, that being thankful, because that's also, the more that you amplify your gratitude, which you can truly only do that when you are actually grateful, which comes through having an abundance mindset.
Mhm.
That's when you're then able to magnetize and pull in more.
Right, exactly. And it comes back to stepping into that abundance mindset and identity now, as opposed to like waiting for someday once you have the things, right? You're like, oh, once I have all the money, then I'll be abundant. Once I have the man in my life, like then I'll be worthy and deserving and enough. It's like, no, we have to create that now. And then that is the energy that then manifests in the result that we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Okay, so I would love to know if you were to flash back to Mary from over a year ago, who was before deciding to join Empowered Abundance, like right before she made that decision to step on this deeper journey of transformation and growth, what would you say to her?
Hmm. It's so funny because when I was thinking about that just now as you're speaking, I was remembering, oh yeah, that's actually right when I was deciding to work with you. I think I went on maybe two dates, or I just had met, my now fiance. I had just met him, and I remember telling him about, oh yeah, I'm going to hire this coach, and he thought it was cool. Um so what and I point that out because it's like, again, it's so funny how this work goes hand in hand together. So what I would say to that version of Mary, I would tell her to let go of the expectations of how you think things are supposed to work out, and really just focus on one step at a time, because I think that version of Mary tends to would tend to zoom out and look at things at face value, which is important, but sometimes that version of Mary would say, "Oh, this is how it's going to be. This is how it is. So I can't go right. I can't go left. I can't do this." And instead of trying to make my own reality, to let go of that and let support in, like you, like my then newly meeting this boyfriend at the time, and let God work his magic, versus saying, you know what, it has to be this way, and I'm not going to move forward if it's not this way.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that that's also a huge reflection of like a big part of abundance, which is surrendering and accepting like the opportunities that are here for you and seeing the abundance that is present in that. So I love that you shared that because I'm sure there's so many people listening who can resonate with that and are in like a similar boat.
Yeah, yeah, it's and it's not like I don't want to say it's not always easy, right? Because that's our mindset, but how can you start to maybe find the fun in not needing to be in control, in not needing to always know? How can you start to find the fun in, okay, maybe when something didn't go as planned, but how did that work out for you?
Yeah, exactly. And let that be part of the abundance, the joy, the journey, because otherwise life would be really boring if it was all just perfect and exactly what we planned it to be.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, Mary, thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like we touched on so many powerful things, and I know some people are going to message me and tell me about all of the value that they received in this conversation. Before we hop off today, can you please share with everybody where they can connect with you, learn more about you, receive some value from you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, definitely connect with me on Instagram at MaryMC4. And I'd love to hear what you took away from this podcast. And you can check out my podcast, which is the Living Your True Vibe. And if you want to kind of start to bridge that connection from working on your abundance mindset and bridging that into love, and you might be ready to start putting yourself out there to date or thinking about that, you can message me love and we can talk about what that looks like, about joining my program, Let Love In. But maybe you're not there yet, but you're like, I'm curious about feminine energy. I'm curious about maybe eventually getting there. I have a freebie called From Guarded to Glowing. So this is all about for the women who know they have some walls around their heart, who can feel and sense there's a little bit of fear around shifting into your feminine energy, around letting in love. So if you are curious about that, you can DM me on Instagram, glowing, and I will be happy to send you that freebie.
Amazing. That sounds so great. I'm like, send me that freebie. I totally want to check that out. And for everybody listening, all of the links to connect with Mary, her podcast, her Instagram, everything is in the show notes below. So if you didn't catch that, that's okay. Go ahead and scroll down and click those links to hop into Mary's world, and definitely check out her podcast as well. I highly recommend. Oh my gosh, Mary, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for bringing your value, your wisdom, your experience, your expertise onto this show. It was such a pleasure having you. And it was also really fun to hear about how your past year has been since working together.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. It's always great connecting with you. I just love your energy as always. And yeah, thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to this and be a part of our conversation.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this week's episode. Again, enrollment ends today for Group 9 of the Empowered Abundance Program. If you want to experience the kind of relationship with money that Mary developed through our time together, then now is the time to book your free consultation. If you want to be able to charge with confidence or maybe increase your pricing, if you want to feel more worthy, more deserving, more in control of your money and in control of your life, if you want to expand and step fully into entrepreneurship without money or self-worth holding you back or blocking you, and if you have the goal to become a successful full-time entrepreneur doing the work you love and being able to support yourself financially while making the kind of impact in the world that you want to make, then Empowered Abundance is the program to support you in doing that. Because in Empowered Abundance, I help you change the way you think about money, the way you feel about money, and the way you use your money. And not just tangible with your money, but also digging into sense of safety, self-worth, worthiness, and deservingness, which all ties into not only the amount of money you're capable of having, holding, and receiving, but also your ability to successfully grow a sustainable full-time business. So if you're ready to take your relationship with money to the next level so that you can live a more abundant, financially free, and thriving life, then use the link in the show notes below to get your free consultation on the calendar ASAP. Again, enrollment is ending soon for the next round that's going to kick off on August 11th. So schedule your free consult with the link in the show notes below, or by going to my website, thebizhippie.com/abundance. Do not wait on this. I only run 4 rounds of this program a year, and this is the 3rd round. So we're coming up on the end of 2026. So if you want 2026 to be the year that you step into more abundance, then now is the time to start to transform your relationship with money, because we're already halfway through the year and 2027 will be right around the corner. So schedule your free consult to explore the Empowered Abundance Program using the link in the show notes below. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Money Monday, and I will see you next week.